if I told you about a place where nobody spoke English? Welcome to Mexico City.
Act 1. Terra Nova. July 1998. At the gates of my own puberty, I was invited to my first ever taco night. After a full day of Nerf fights and fighting my urges to touch myself, we were called to the dinner table. Or as my white friends called it, supper. I arrived at the table and to my surprise I saw a collection of ingredients, all segregated into their own bowls. It was as if dinner was not ready to be served, like someone had began preparing a meal and stopped right at the very end. It was dinner, but this time, some assembly was required. In my home, dinner was not fun time. Dinner was business time. You weren't supposed to play with your food. Food was life or death. After all, if you didn't eat, you would die. I was assured that dinner was indeed served, and we were all tasked with making our own tacos. After assembling my taco, I brought it to my mouth and bit in. But before I could complete the bite, the taco began to disintegrate faster than most of my relationships in my early 20s. Was this some kind of joke? Some sick prank? Why would you make something as important as food so delicate? I was confused. Then the confusion turned into anger. That day, I vowed never to have a taco again.
Hey, can you call my mom, please?
Act 2. The Abyss. You've heard of the TTC, Toronto's subterranean transit system. But what if I told you, even more subterranean than that, is another network of tunnels. But instead of a well-paid unionized workforce running around, there is just a bunch of people wearing suits. An endless maze with millions of retail stores, where everywhere you turn, there's a Shoppers Drug Mart. I'm Joey Harlop from Secrets of Toronto, Toronto Secrets, and today we're going undercover to find out what's happening inside the path. After 3 years of investigative journalism in the public eye, I began to get noticed. And that's not helpful when you're trying to sneak into the world's most secret places and get answers nobody asked for. So we called our friends at the CIA and asked for one liter of the purest lab-tested LSD and an HQRC. That's right, a high-quality rat costume, made up of 420 dead rats we could finally hide in plain sight. But before the search began, I decided to ingest the LSD.
The entrance had to be near. The water started tasting like urine. Not just any urine. My urine. How did they get the recipe? I could tell we were getting close, because the authorities started to appear, seemingly out of nowhere. We hid. And we hid again.
If you don't move, they won't see you.
Once the smoke cleared, we continued our search.
It's a crack pipe. Great.
After nearly an hour of searching, we found a way in. A glass yurt structure at King and Simcoe. How deep did it go? And more importantly, how the hell do we get out?
It's a piano stairwell. Why would they put a piano keyboard? That's a stairwell. That's very unsanitary. I think I'm gonna get a booze here. I'm sweating uncontrollably in this suit. I'm a very financially unstable rat. Can I get a funky monkey? Just the smallest size. How much of this drink is actually monkey? I'm going into my savings account. I've already ordered, sorry. Yeah.
It was lunchtime, and the acid began to kick in. I began to think of all the bad things I'd done, and whether or not I'd find absolution. Here, in the depths of capitalism, I realized I've been asking the wrong questions. I was asking questions about pigeons and bike lanes. Trying to solve the world's problems before even solving my own. Perhaps the greatest conspiracy of them all is the one inside me. The one inside me that stopped me from doing everything I wanted to do. The one inside me that fooled me into thinking I wasn't good enough for her, for them, for this. Did growing up without a father affect me more than I care to admit? Did I sabotage my romantic relationships because my idea of a relationship was based on one where my father gave up on me before he even met me? Hours pass. My mania was setting in. I had no idea who I was. Was I rat? Was I human?
I have fully formed into a rat. I'm a giant rat now. There's very few parts of me that are human left. I'm really nervous because I'm half rat, half man right now. And I've been judged for being a man and a rat.
The very fabric of my being was changing.
Look at this. They have so much water, they're wasting it. They have so much water, they're wasting it in a fountain. There are children in Africa that could be drinking this shit, but they're putting it up here?
I began to seethe. I was in the heart of consumerism, the soul of capitalism, in a maze filled with 1,000 stores. Nothing to buy.
I'm the guy in a rat costume, and people are out here paying $20 for bubble tea. And I'm the fuck.
Did we need all of this? I began to realize the only thing we ever needed was each other. In truth, that's all we ever had. Hours later, I was welcomed back to the real world by more authority figures. This time, mall security.
All right.
You guys have to go.
We'll just go this way?
You can't record here. Sorry. You gotta get out of here.
No, we were in the path, so thank you.
Get out.
You should go. Take the stairs.
In the drop of a hat, the tempo changed. We went from fight to flight. When you're a child, they tell you, kid, you're gonna be somebody someday. But you were always somebody. You are somebody. We had to find a way out of here. Was it my fault I didn't make anything out of myself, or was it the world I was born into?
Act 3. The Uninvited Guests. 25 years later, tacos began to invade the Toronto zeitgeist. From Gus's Tacos to Latin World, it was as if Mexican cuisine had finally arrived in the city. Tacos ranged from $3.50 a piece to as high as $7. Does a completely ready-to-eat pseudo sandwich really justify that price? Something was wrong. And in order to get to the bottom of it, we only had one choice. To go to the place that started where it all started. We had to go to Mexico City. Mexico City. They have buses, they have cars, but they also have Mexicans. And Mexicans also have tacos. Over 3 days, I visited over 80 taco stands and had over 1,000 tacos. I put on 17 pounds in under 48 hours. Tacos here in Mexico City were about $1.50 a piece. How did they do it? How did they keep the price so low? Before I could find out, the unthinkable happened. Mexican federales raided my hotel room in the middle of the night and killed my cameraman. And before I knew it, I was being questioned, detained, and extradited. I guess that's just the way the taco crumbles.